To understand ADHD and autism spectrum disorder, it's essential to grasp what these conditions are, how they affect brain function, and why they lead to specific behaviours. These are not illnesses or disabilities in the traditional sense, but differences in how the brain is wired and processes information. Understanding this is the key to recognising the strengths and challenges neurodiverse individuals may bring to the workplace. ADHD, what it is and how it works. ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, affects the brain's executive functions, which are controlled by the prefrontal cortex. Executive functions are the mental skills that help with planning, focus, self-control, and organisation. In people with ADHD, this system doesn't operate in the same way as it does for neurotypical individuals. One significant difference involves dopamine, a neurotransmitter responsible for reward, motivation, and pleasure. In the ADHD brain, dopamine levels are often lower or regulated differently, which affects how tasks are prioritised and how attention is maintained. This is why someone with ADHD might struggle to focus on repetitive or low-stimulation tasks, yet become highly intensely engaged in activities they find exciting or novel, a phenomenon known as hyperfocus. This isn't about choice or effort, it's a direct result of how their brain seeks stimulation to balance dopamine levels. In the workplace, this might look like a colleague who thrives in high-pressure situations where the sense of urgency naturally increases dopamine production. They might excel in roles requiring quick decision-making or creative problem-solving. However, they may also struggle with tasks that require prolonged attention to detail or dealing with long, unstructured meetings, which can feel overwhelming. Autism spectrum disorder, what it is and how it works. Autism spectrum disorder, or autism, affects how the brain processes sensory information, social interactions, and patterns. The autistic brain often shows increased connectivity in certain regions, which can lead to extraordinary abilities in specific areas, such as mathematics, pattern recognition, or memory. At the same time, other areas of the brain that help process social cues or regulate sensory input may function differently. One common characteristic of autism is heightened sensory sensitivity. This means that everyday stimuli such as bright lights, loud noises, or crowded spaces might feel overwhelming or even painful. At the same time, the autistic brain tends to prefer predictability and structure, which is why many autistic people are highly skilled at following routines or focusing deeply on specific interests. In a workplace setting, an autistic person might find open-plan offices challenging due to sensory overload. They may also avoid casual conversations or group activities, not because they lack interest, but because interpreting social cues can feel exhausting. However, given clear instructions and a quiet environment, they might excel in tasks requiring precision, analytical thinking, or innovation. How these differences manifest in behaviour. For ADHD, the effects on behaviour might revolve around how individuals process time, priorities, and tasks. You might notice someone starting multiple projects enthusiastically, but losing momentum without frequent feedback or deadlines. They might also interrupt conversations, not out of rudeness, but because their brain struggles with impulse control and might fear forgetting their point. For autism, the behaviour often reflects a need for predictability and control in environments that feel chaotic. Someone might avoid eye contact, not as a sign of disinterest, but because it helps them focus on the conversation. They might prefer emails over face-to-face meetings, as written communications remove the unpredictability and the effort of social interactions. Understanding the bigger picture. Both ADHD and autism reflect differences in brain wiring, not deficits. These conditions influence how people interpret and respond to the world. Recognizing this allows you to move beyond labels and behaviours to see the individual's strengths. Someone with ADHD might bring incredible energy and creativity to your team, while a colleague with autism might provide the focus and attention to detail needed to elevate a project. By understanding how these conditions work and affect behaviour, you're better equipped to support neurodiverse colleagues. This starts with curiosity and empathy and grows with small adjustments that make a big difference in creating an inclusive and productive environment.